Before I begin my devotion this morning, let's take 30 seconds to listen to the wilderness around us, including the bees and the flowering crab behind me. In our daily devotions, we've been in Acts for quite a while now, 3 weeks in a row. The last Acts reading I read was chapter 17. We now leave the end of Acts for the beginning, but you don't have to. There are 10 more chapters of Acts, many stories, and remember I said that I call this the action-adventure book of the Bible. Paul has shipwrecks. Paul has many arrests with his preaching. Much to read there. I chose now, 2 days before Pentecost, to move to the beginning of Acts to prepare us. That is why I'm standing with different shades of red in the tree behind me and in the clothes I'm wearing, even if they're clashing, to prepare us for Pentecost. And also to get back on the Sunday assigned readings from the book of Acts. There are 2 before our Pentecost reading. So I begin at the beginning of Acts. In the first book, Theophilus, I wrote about all that Jesus did and taught from the beginning, until the day he was taken up to heaven, after giving instructions through the Holy Spirit to the apostles whom he had chosen. After his suffering, he presented himself alive to them by many convincing proofs, appearing to them during 40 days and speaking about the kingdom of heaven. While staying with them, he ordered them not to leave Jerusalem, but to wait there for the promise of the Father. This, he said, is what you have heard from me. For John baptized with water, but you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit not many days from now. So when they had come together, they asked, Lord, is this the time when you will restore the kingdom of Israel? He replied, it is not for you to know the time or periods that the Father has set by his own authority, but you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. And you will be his witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. When he had said this, as they were watching, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. While he was going, and they were gazing up toward heaven, suddenly 2 men in white robes stood by them. They said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking up toward heaven? This Jesus, who has been taken up from you into heaven, will come in the same way as you saw him go into heaven. Then they returned to Jerusalem from the mountain called Olivet, which is near Jerusalem, a Sabbath day journey away. Acts is volume 2. Luke, the author of Luke, is the same as the author of Acts, and so this is Luke's second part of the story. Of course, the first part of the Gospel of Luke, he writes to the same Theophilus. We don't know who that person is, but he writes, the end of Luke is the ascension of Jesus. The beginning of Acts is the ascension of Jesus. It's 40 days from his resurrection. It was celebrated in the church year Thursday ago, and it prepares us for our world, does it not? Jesus ascending into heaven. But the preparation isn't to stare off into heaven at an ascended Jesus, but is to do just what the apostles did. They returned to their homes and took up the task. That is our calling as Christians, to not stare off into an amazing heaven, but to return to our homes for our tasks. May that be your message today.